Right. Well, then here we are, walking into the first part of Hattusa. This is the lower city, or the lower fortress. Oh, right?
That was a big rock.
These are foundational stones. These are the stones originally here, from the original city that was here. And we don't understand, if you see the size of the stone already, it's from here to here. And it would have been a really big stone. Smashed to pieces, right? This is polygonal masonry. See how this next block of stone fits perfectly with this stone? And this. And then we have this megalithic stone. Take a look at the length of this stone. It's 15 feet long. With drill holes. Not sure what all the drill holes are. It looks like rubble. And here's pieces of it. But these are massive stones, and they fit them together as if it's putty. It's hard to see now because most of it is gone. Right? All these massive stones. It looks like rubble. You could see at one time it was a perfectly squared off stone.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of force must have happened to smash this stone off from the top and blow it into pieces?
And not just this one.
The entire site.
As we look around.
Leveled. This is magnificent. You're dealing with megalithic stones. Look at the size of this stone here. It is unmovable with people and people power. You can't. Carve it, bring it here, set it in place, make it fit perfectly. This is fantastic. Of course, we've got to take a look at this stone. This is it. Look at this stone. Sorry, I had to touch it. I don't know what kind of rock it is. Bottom line is they don't know where it came from or why it's here. What's interesting is it's not, even though it's cut into a cube, it's not really straight walled or anything. As if the stone was precious as the stone. It was never carved into something greater. I'm not saying it wasn't, because it's definitely been sculpted somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth as glass.
Mm-hmm.
Something else,
Beautiful piece, though. Like
right?
Nothing else we've seen.
Look at this big megalithic stone. All of these here. Boom. These could be doorways. Oh. Megalithic. Right? Perfect holes drilled in. At first I thought maybe it was a modern core sample somebody did, but when you see so many,
Oh, no.
they probably put some sort of pin in here, set the next stone on top to make sure it didn't shift off the place.
I see that did a great job helping it survive. The top, whatever
Right.
it was pinned into is gone.
So they call these storerooms. So see how there's a whole wall here?
Mm-hmm.
This was probably a doorway.
Right.
That I went from this storeroom to this room to the next room. But why am I so high up? Maybe the floor was here. Maybe this has been dug out. Maybe it was a big pit, and I don't know.
Certainly begs some questions. Maybe it was cold storage. Maybe this was dug out deeper underground,
Yeah,
cold storage, and dirt is filled in over time.
I would like to think, right?
Maybe there was some sort of a step down. I don't know, but don't see any hints of stairs going down further.
I don't see any that they've excavated out. They may have done some. We'll keep walking around. But if it were people making this, well, why not maybe start with some smaller stones, just as your floor base entrance, right?
They certainly weren't shy about working with large stone.
No. And what's interesting that we'll see on this site is they were also not worried about working with stones that aren't square. We'll see that as it goes along. Still fitting together perfectly. Here's an interesting structure. Right? It could have been some type of press or because there is a drain hole here.
No.
It's a big stone. It's a big stone.
One piece.
It's a big
floor.
Stone. Here it sits crooked Kapunga. What moved everything to be disheveled, right? I'm not picking these stones up and rearranging them. Oh, here we see some original foundation stones that are still carved at the base, right? You see this in the lip there? The square edge at the bottom, the stuff that's lower.
Right.
All along here.
Don't know how to show it.
These are big rocks. These are big rocks.
I know they don't look like much, but they...
Right?
They're
This rock...
They're 5 feet tall.
This rock is this tall. And this rock alone starts here.
And
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14...
Maybe 15 feet?
14, 15 feet long. It is 5 feet thick. 4 to 5 feet thick. At least 4 feet thick going in. 5. That's more than 4.
5 feet, I'd say. 5 by 5 by 15 or huge.
As for the original height of this stone, we do not know. The crystal explosion, when they blew up everything on Earth, smashed this all off the top. There is no other way.
There are some that seem more intact, and you'd think that this is relatively flat on top. So I would say this is probably the height here.
Right?
Which again is 5 feet. It is a megalithic stone.
That's a megalithic
And there's
stone.
not, and I think what we need to be clear, there's not just one of those.
Right? Here, second one blocked right to it.
10 feet
Things
in
have
length.
juggled a little, but they fit together like a glove.
Let's see if I can show that.
They split apart a little, only because it got shaken apart by an explosion. But otherwise it's gloves. You could see here a thing, this is bent in, and they got an ornamental design here as if this was gonna be a column, maybe the figure, who knows.
Right.
It's intentionally carved. Here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14.
I'd
Again,
say
15 feet.
And we have no idea
2,
how
4,
deep it is.
6 feet
5
by
feet.
15.
Yeah. 5 by 5 by 15, I'd say. And we have no idea how deep it goes.
I have no idea.
But I would presume it's 5 feet based on what I see.
So this type of stonework, this is old. This is some of the oldest stuff on Earth. Really. We cannot comprehend playing around with blocks this big. Inconceivable. Everything was fitting together like glove work.
And there's just,
So much.
it's not like this was one building that they put together. A megalithic stone. There's one that was 6 feet high at least.
Right? There's no really consistency in the stone sizes or shapes, but they all fit together like a glove.
Sure, 6 feet high. Then we have one here that's more like 3.5 feet high, but you can see that that's the top.
Magnificent. But you can see every stone is smashed. Just saying, it begs questions.
This isn't erosion. This is brute force. You see the fracturing in the stone
Right?
everywhere. Yeah.
Lots of fracturing. Because this site honestly, it could be 200,000-300,000 years old. Why not?
The concept of that is staggering because,
Right?
but
Why not? It wasn't made yesterday.
this is one of those sites that has been repurposed, I'm sure, time and time and time again.
Yes.
Until there wasn't enough left at one point, maybe explosion, but to where it wasn't worth putting it back together again. Look how smooth the hole carving is, and every one is perfectly round.
You can see it was a core bit drill. It's kind of, I even got a lip edge.
Right?
You see that little lip edge around there?
I know it's a little awful.
If it was a round core drill, see that sharp edge around the whole outside, and then they broke it off. Ka-chunk. Not unlike how they would do a core drill today.
But that technology.
There is even the possibility the core drill is when someone repurposed the site, the first repurposing,
Right.
potentially, not the original builders. This is not typical. I think we're learning. I don't think these round holes, drills, is typical for the construction of the people or the beings that made this. Possibly later someone came or other beings came. The site was already destroyed. Drilled these holes to fit the blocks back on top. Not sure. As we walk around, it may prove otherwise.
Well, it wouldn't be the first site that has been renovated, repurposed, built on top of.
Yes.
There's just some up there.
The monumental size of all these stones is just spectacular. We really can only see anything significant from the part down of a curve. Every wall in this whole place has a curve like that in a stone. Every one. You can see it right across. But this is where we can see some beautiful stonework in here. I also see some stone here that's different. See this green stone? It's even a different stone than the rest. Had no problems moving stones around. But this is where it gets really interesting. I want to show you some things here. Whew. Just to show you how easy they played with these big stones. Even a little cut mark in here. No problemo. Look how this stone wraps around that stone ever so graciously. And I haven't even looked at this. Here's a stone here. Massive block here. And they left this sticking out of it, right? Everything is by design. And I want to show you one more thing here that's just spectacular up and over on these rocks here. This will start to blow your mind away. See this massive stone here?
Hang on one sec.
Right?
Get a better view of you.
Right, stone. And this massive stone here, this is a second massive stone here. And there, but look how they fit stone and this stone together. See this little wiggle? Right there? See that little wiggle?
Yep.
To lock the stones together as if it's nothing to play with putty. And you could see there's grass in there. Again, the mimicked same little wiggle. Staggering the front face a little bit off to seal up the gap from the front view. On a stone that's 6 feet high, 10, 12 feet long, 6 feet wide. And they could put a little wiggle in the front of it to match a second megalithic block beside it. And then put a little wiggle in this stone to fit this megalithic block beside it. They played with the stuff as if it was putty in their hands, right?
It's a little staggering.
It is staggering, absolutely staggering. And these are green stones, see that? See the green hue in there a little? Some of them are more of a limestone, some of them are more green. I don't know. Just saying. Really, this was made by the gods where they could just, I don't know. It's not human. I don't care. Not in a million years we couldn't make it. Just this foundation alone, we would never, cannot accomplish it. And it's got a nub on this side, the wiggle on that front corner, all in this one rock.
And it's arguably one of the biggest rocks we've seen here.
And one of the many biggest rocks.
There are big rocks, but
right?
They say this is what it looked like. They rebuilt a section over there. But to me, that was its repurposing, maybe fourth, fifth, who knows how many times they've rebuilt on the foundation. There is no way that if you could move rocks like that is what you built originally.
That's new.
No, I'm just...
You see it too.
Yeah, there's just no way.
Yeah.
You could do this, that isn't what you built.
No.
You built grander things than that.
I'm going to assume, here's a very bold statement. They used these big rocks because this was the easiest method to build it. Not the most difficult way to do it. When we construct something today, do we build it? Let's see how difficult we can make it to build, to accomplish this wall, because we need a room. No, you build it the easiest way possible to accomplish your purpose. Just saying.
It's an amazing sight.
Just saying.
I know we have to keep moving to the others. So I think next we're gonna go up to the upper city. As much as we could probably spend hours down here alone,
right?
We're gonna go see what they would have put higher up.
This is magnificent. This is different than Temple of Zeus that we were at. We didn't have this kind of metamorphic, massive rocks to this scale. They were huge. I mean, those columns were still massive, but this is morphic. You know what I mean by that?
Yes. Well, the scale of this place is astonishing alone. And this is just one piece of it.
Where are all the rocks that were on top?
Repurposed, maybe. Who knows?
Just saying, maybe.
Don't know.
Maybe all those walls, see all that looks like rubble built, but still magnificent and ancient? Maybe they were from all the blocks up here. Don't know. I'm gonna say the site's been cleaned up and cleaned out, because there's no bits of rocks from, obviously, was a lot more structure on top of this, right?
Oh.
They didn't put a foundation like this and then build a wood hut on top.
No.
So it could only held more rocks. Let's do a wander. I just want to look at those more square stones over there, just to see if they're original or repurposed, because they feel out of place.
Because they are more square.
Look at this wall. They built a wall that's 8 feet thick. This could have survived a nuclear war, and yet it did not. Right?
It
got leveled.
This thing got smashed. They built it to last, and unfortunately.
Right? They built all this stuff to last, and yet it did not. So what happened?
These are definitely curious.
Right? Just beautifully carved stones.
They've got the drilling, which would suggest they
know,
look out of place.
The drill does look out of place. These are beautiful. This is just spectacular. Oh, I get excited when I see these old places. I'm trying to find out the history, not just current history. I want to know the beginning history, right? And it is funny, the older back you go, the bigger the stones become. It's the opposite of what you think they would have taught us about evolution of humanity. Start small, man in a cave. Right?
Oh,
this is not caveman.
No.
Just saying. This is gods. It has to be the power of the gods, because it's not humanly possible. So what's left of it is a double-headed lion on this side, a single rock. Oh, there'll be a double-face lion on this side. Hard to maybe see the lion's head, one paw here, second paw here, the mouth of the lion, nostrils. A second lion's head would have been here, front paw, the head, but it's
always in pairs.
But how old does it need to be for something that was probably perfectly carved to now be this stone, to even be this worn, despite the smashing of it? But it's also worn. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years old. One megalithic stone with lion heads all carved on it, moved here. And it had a purpose. We don't even know. Huh? Oh, wow.
They're not the same.
That one's been restored.
So one of these is not original.
That one's been restored. Oh, wow. Look at this work. So, and this arch came together at a point like that.
Oh, and look at the size of the stone.
You see what I'm saying? And Look at, they carved the stone. It's putty. Right? And this work here is just staggering when you how hard it is to put non-square rocks together. You think this is simpler and easier because it looks sloppy. The precision to fit non-square blocks together is inconceivable. Really, is it impossible technology? My goodness gracious me. Look at these rocks. They're bigger than I was expecting.
They stand 6 feet tall. Well, this is the restored one. The restored one is definitely larger.
That is spectacular. And look at this face here. What's interesting, see how you got a nub sticking out here?
Yes.
And yet this was one of the perfect polygonal blocks of stone, right? Mm-hmm. See how this face is so unfinished?
Yes.
And yet the rocks are all perfect?
Yes.
They had no care of what the outside looked like, the original builders. It was just about stacking the stones together. Mm-hmm. I've seen this repeated over and over and over again throughout the earth. Wherever you get this type of funny round blocks all put together, the outside surface, you think they would have, if they could carve this perfect and this perfect, you think they would have made the front look perfect. They never did. Nubs, one rock could be bigger, this one's shaped, this one's got its, whatever the natural stone was, whatever came out of the quarry or whatever they did, they left that as the exterior facade. So they were not trying to impress necessarily something on the other side. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's confusing to us as people. We always surface. The surface got to look good. Well, what's behind the surface? Well, whatever, right?
And some of them are nicer than others, but in general, there was no real care.
It wasn't that they faced it, is what I'm trying to say. Right. There's no obvious that they tried to make. So then this is early.
Right.
This is early. When the stones are no longer square, this is old stuff. Been pieced back together later. An engraving on here. You can still see the fur engraving.
On the, oh, and this one's the redone one.
No, just the face is redone. This is still original.
I see.
And that one's original. But you can see the hair lockets on both. It's just the fine toe in the knuckle of the toe coming down, and even the little claw of the feet. You got to understand this was perfect. I was going to say, just as a summary at the Lion's Gate here, this is spectacular. These two stones that are left here and in there that create the gate, just spectacular. Carved out of one piece of stone. The fact that you can still see the hair carved into the lion, it's just spectacular. Unbelievable.
It did.
Out of place stones is not abnormal for these sites.
Wow. Steps, stairs, they carved, maybe. Looks like it.
Right? Right into the original bedrock. Made no difference where they carved the stone. It could be the original stone that was here or a new block. They equally carved them, right? Crazy. To morph these rocks in with the natural rock. You can get way out there. See the wall from the side we can't. That's beautiful. It is windy. Wow. It's not just a pile of rocks. This is natural rock here, and then they set these megalithic blocks and incorporate it right into the original mountain. Really, it's disturbing, right? Rocks meant nothing. Fitted, carved, all of them would have been, originally they wouldn't have been a hair to fit between rocks, originally. Here you see original rock mountain right here. And you see this and this step cut out of it, that's where they would sit a megalithic rock and tuck it right into the original bedrock here. And then the next rock sat here on top of this rock, but fit it into the original mountain. They could carve the original mountain as easy as the megalithic blocks that were here. Really. And we're on the top of a mountain. This isn't in a factory where you got all the equipment and you can try and figure out how to carve this stuff. It's on the side of a cliff. They got stuff carved. That's a 100-foot drop, maybe more, right? Unbelievable. Look at this stone, carved in with this stone. Straight lines did not mean a thing. Absolutely nothing. It could be wiggled, it could be curved, doesn't matter. They fit stone to stone, like a glove. Nothing in a straight line. They could reshape them like butter. Wow. When you thought these were steps, here, step, no, this is a seating for where a stone sat. You see that? And you see how another stone sat comfortably in here. That's what that is. Stone sat here.
How they helped lock and hold them. They leveled the ground for the stone and...
Right? Look, with even a lip up here on this side, so no, we'll just plunk this stone right in. As if you could just take a block and stone, like turn the stone soft to putty, and then just nestle them in airtight together. Not flat, curved, and with a locking lip. All of them have a locking lip. Now that I see these on the front stone, all has a lip like this. Even these additional blocks that have been added, there's a front upper lip, this one up, and then the stone goes down and in. See how this is curved like this? Probably more stone came this way and another block's even tough. That's just mind-boggling. They played around with these blocks, literally, putty. I'm playing with my plasticine. Let's make a plasticine castle, really. And yet, these are crystalline stones. It's not concrete, this is genuine rock. Unbelievable. Sorry, I get so excited about these things. Oh. You know what? When the ancient writings say the gods came here, and then you see these ancient blocks that are inconceivably impossible to make, the stories must align. The rocks and the ruins that we're seeing and the ancient stories of mythology, they align. So I can only believe that mythology is not mythology, it is true history. Because the rocks are here to prove it.
It's gonna be dark in there,
all right,
but we will do our best. I apologize in advance if this doesn't light up.
We just, I see because of a certain camera.
This is gonna be it looks like a dark tunnel.
Right?
But we have a light.
We just don't know how to turn it on.
Just at the back, just press once and you're on.
All right.
Okay.
This is going to be spectacular. This is an original tunnels there with the polygonal blocks fitting together. It looks crude, but I tell you, it is perfection. And they had no care about the inside finish. You see that? They could fit them together perfectly, but no care about the outside finish. Wow. You see this structural shape here? Back there, the shape. So that's the same as the Lion's Gate, that shape, but we only saw the Lion's Gate from here to here, right? This was their shape. A single key pin stone at the top. Boom. Absolutely spectacular. Unbelievable. Just taking a look here to see if the rocks themselves the rocks have been shaped. They're not just random broken rocks. It just looks random on the outside. Wow. Right? This is great. Look at the wear on that rock, and yet they still used it. I don't understand. It seems odd that they would choose a rock like this, right? To build in the construction that's full of holes. And did it wear out after they put it in here? That seems impossible too, being so protected inside that the outside weather could wear it out. And yet they pick a rock full of holes as if they just grabbed any rock and like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
An obscure rock,
right,
amongst what we see in here for sure.
I find it hard that he wrote it, and yet I find it hard that they would pick that one.
Obviously, they didn't have a shortage of rocks, so to pick one that might even be considered less structurally sound because it is hollow almost, right, in nature.
Like
maybe they carved it themselves after and it served a purpose in this tunnel, a light source halfway through. I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of things we don't know. And what was the purpose of this tunnel? Right? Rock smooth from a million people walking by touching it. This too, the points are smooth. It's been rubbed 101 times. I got shiny rock. What's going on?
Heat. Temperature coming in through the tunnel from an explosion melted some of the rock at this end, maybe. I don't know.
Right?
Like, and gave it a sheen on the inside.
These rocks are shiny. Feel this. Take your glove off and just feel the surface. Something has melted the surface of these stones. I know it doesn't, just saying.
Because it's every one. It wasn't because it was touched from traffic.
It's wet, that's why it's shiny.
Some of
those are wet.
But those ones were not wet.
Okay. I was wondering if this doorway was original or added later, but it is megalithic. Right? Boom. They had no problem building a square archway door to their whole tunnel. That's unbelievable. Seems like a doorway to nowhere, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, but it must have had great purpose. You don't build that. You go build a little side path down the hill. You want to cover it over so it's not slippery when it's raining?
Right. Easy access to the city in times of peace seem probable.
Oh yeah, I just want a nice easy access there.
Something seems wrong with it.
Easy's where we lost it.
Right? I don't know.
I'm wondering if all this placed rock was from the original builders or a later addition. It feels to me as later. It is nicely stacked, don't get me wrong. It's a polygonal stacking. But they're not necessarily carved stones. It's hard to say. They look just all natural.
Yeah.
Well placed. But I feel it's later than that for some reason. But I don't know.
Haven't seen sphinxes yet. They
Unless
called it the Sphinx Gate?
Rocks are shiny in here, Zach.
Everything's got a sheen to it.
See that shine?
Through this
That
whole...
doesn't happen naturally.
It might even show on camera just the sheeny parts. Just
Right?
It's at the face of every stone.
They're shiny.
Heat blasted
Like
through
heat?
this tunnel.
And heat melted them, right?
I don't know.
Just saying. Rocks don't break shiny.
I don't know. And it's on a face that we know they didn't bother polishing because they didn't care.
Right? And it couldn't have been touched that much all the way up and down to be shiny.
No,
like that,
not every...
right? You could see it if it was touched 10,000 times. It could turn shiny.
This way. Don't lose your mind.
Sir? Oh, wow. Sorry, I lost the words for a moment. Oh, wow, we're here at the Sphinx Gate. Wow. The two sphinxes made out of megalithic stones. You can see the stones are wider than the typical stones around here, meaning the stones aren't from here.
I think these are replicas. Somebody replaced them.
They could be replicas.
I think they're too crumbly, they're too different, they're the wrong color. I think somebody's took the originals and I think they've put replicas back in their place. I wouldn't even be surprised if they're at the museum. Who knows? But
the other ones are there.
They don't plaster-like. This is...
It could be a copy.
I think they're copies. But if this is what was here...
Partial copies, you can see that. There's an original stone. It's definitely been plastered and smushed. So
Symbol.
that is a symbol here. So they wore certain headpieces on top of their heads. The ancient, especially in Egypt, or the really ancient things, they had all these funny different hats and different headpieces. We can look it up online, this particular headpiece. That's very Egyptian. But the further back in time, well, Sphinx is Egyptian or not. We attributed that, it wasn't even Egypt back then. But the most ancient, it was like when the original gods came here, of course they all had unified ideas of things. And so we'll see similar symbology here as we find even in Egypt.
And I have very limited knowledge.
They may have taken these originals and put them somewhere else.
Sure. For all we know, they're at the museum down. They took
In
them from
Ankara
here.
or something.
No, well, there's a museum here too. This is magnificent.
So this, and here you can see even the bone structure
Yes.
in the legs here,
This.
coming down and around here, the two paws and the legs. So even though it is extremely weathered and extremely worn, there is an original Sphinx in a sense.
This excites me more than those, right? This is a nice...
Most likely, I'm gonna guess there was a second one right
They
here,
always did in pairs.
right? A second one here, and then it fit the gate in here. Pivot points, lock points for the gate. But this is where a gate would have been.
That sign said they had to be restored from heavy damage by fire.
Right.
And what I find very curious about that is, as we said in the tunnel, like one of the things we noticed in the tunnel was heat. Like the tunnel had been touched by very hot heat.
Extreme heat. The stones were melted on the surface. They were shiny.
And then we see here that these had to be restored because of it.
They were destroyed by fire.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And what's gonna burn up here if it was just a fire?
Yeah.
There's nothing to burn.
No. Hattusa just seems to be a site that keeps on giving. Beautiful pieces. The size of these stones. This almost looks like it would have been on top. This is the matching piece, and I can only surmise that something forced it off the top. These stones are huge. What a beautiful archway. Absolutely stunning.
A beautiful archway.
Beautiful stonework. Just massive. Wow. You want to talk about megalithic,
Right?
and then to put a curve, a natural, and then to put it in position.
And they thought nothing of it. They even just stick a little wedge rock below here. I think all this is original. It's just
How could they have
shaped
replaced
all that? They
Yeah.
couldn't. This is all original with this. They just did a big gate stone and then through these, it's not even polygon because they're not even straight sides.
No.
These metamorphic rocks that fit. Look at the heights of that gate, right? The originals were giants. They were giants, and they were that big. This is the right scale for the size they were. The gods came from the heavens, which means they came from not this dimension. Not from another place, but from another dimension. And they descended the heavens and came to earth. They came to earth with no form because they come from formlessness of another dimension. And that's why when they saw here that we're already going on, oh, look at that. And they changed their form. They could, way back at the first start. But then they got locked into 3D. They got trapped in third dimension over time. We, you and I, are gods ourselves, trapped and locked in third dimension. Really. We're discovering our way out of third dimensions, right? That's our exploration, feeling that other side, understanding that not only can we move anything we want and change what we want and have things come to being what we want. You know why? Because we're gods. And we've been stripped of that knowledge, trapped in third dimension, trapped under fear, and kept under lock and key. Really. That is the truth. It is mind-bogglingly. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, the gods descended here, and they got trapped in third dimension. We are descendants. We are actually the gods' creation. They manipulated and made us to be their servants, to be their slaves, to do their work. We are their leftovers. But what puzzled them in ancient days is their creations of us. What they did not realize when they created us is that we have divinity in us. And that surprised them. That's made humans. In the beginning, what they didn't realize in the Garden of Eden, they said, don't eat from that tree of life. Don't let your eyes be opened to know that you are God's. Really, that's what happened. And our eyes were opened, and we realized that we were divine as well. Like them, we have that spark of divinity within us. We're digging our way back out of this. Really, that's humanity's goal, dig our way back out of this. That was off tangent. I'm just saying, that's what I'm finding, I'm discovering to be the truth. And you and I were living in energetic fields. So this is a pivot point for a gate. The gates were made of potentially even stone as well, but not necessarily. So there would have been a pivot here and a pivot point there, and on the other side, a pivot point here and a pivot point there. It's just the pivot point for a gate swing. Spectacular. So what's so nice about this is we can just see the smoothness of some stones that just don't seem to be as, probably done a little later than the megalithic times, but not necessarily. They played with small stones too. We see small stones in between the megalithic stones. As Ope always says, only those people who do things make mistakes.
So I'm going to own up that this is our second take about this particular spot. I wasn't hitting record, and I just was checking on some of the footage, and I realized it didn't exist. And we said some amazing things about this piece here and just over there. We'll try to recap it. It might be a little quicker than the original take because we have to keep going. So apologize.
So this is spectacular. What we have here is an inscription. It's the only inscription on this site where there's actually writing to talk about what's going on here. Maybe, but the thing is let's just take a look. You can see the rows. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. It's very difficult to see, but you see a row. These are the lines between the writing. The writing is here, line, writing, all the way up. Writing, and they put lines between the words, the writing. And so this has an inscription on it that would probably says, who knows what, right? But they thought they'd put a monument here, an inscription that would last forever. And yet it's been so old, it's so long, so many tens of hundreds of thousands of years, who really knows, that the actual inscription has worn off. The stone has worn away to the point where it's not even legible. But the crazy thing is, even if we could read it, even if it was still legible, it's a language and a writing we do not know. Most likely hieroglyphic in nature, not Egyptian hieroglyphic, but the hieroglyphic we saw there in Ankara Museum on those stones. Most likely something like that.
Wow.
And again, this is not from the original builders, because the original builders did not use language. We've seen many restorations on this site. We've seen them repurpose ancient blocks and still carve them.
Which we're going to show here in just a moment.
And so who knows what reiteration of this site put this on here, but still in antiquity and in ancient of days.
Just gonna walk over and show you.
Did we film this here before? Or do we need to retake this?
It was all I thought in the same take.
Oh. So we're just wandering over here to take a look at another polygonal wall. But this wall is actually going to be really interesting. This wall is extremely interesting because we can see these stones, how beautifully they're all fitting together. Each stone particularly carved, not on the front face, but in between each one, each stone fits perfectly. And yet, the front of this stone is carved like this and carved like that. But the stone beside it is not carved in the front face, the same one as that one, and this one is bulbous this way. This stone is flat here and then curves this way. Same as that stone, but turned sideways. And so, what that indicates is these stones have been repurposed. This stone was originally somewhere else for another purpose. And the original site was destroyed. They took the destroyed blocks, recarved them, and built yet a wall that we still could not build today. Just absolutely fascinating, the history that goes along here. Just magnificent. You can see the rework of these stones. This one. We've seen this curved thing on the lower city part where the base foundation, all the stones ended like that. So it's implied to me this stone is probably upside down from its original use, design, placement, wherever it might have been on this site. You can see this stone is red in color. It's got a lot of green moss and these lichens growing on it, but the original stone is not even the same stone. Repurposed already in ancient antiquity. Amazing.
With pinning and...
Right? Amazing.
We're just walking up a hill near that last inscription. And they've got it gated. We'll show you here in a moment. And sorry, we're out of breath because this was quite a little bit of an uphill stretch to come see.
That's a pretty high hill. Look at the beautiful stonework. They make it look like poetry.
This is one of the best walls I think that we've seen here. Not because of its size, but because of the craftsmanship and how these have fit together.
Look at this. Oh, here it is, Zach. Very difficult to see.
No, it's not.
Apparently it's not difficult to see.
We're gonna get you in as close as I can while you talk about this.
See, we want to know what some of the ancients were, and I'm not even going to claim they were the first, but we see that figure at the back holding something, and maybe in our book we'll get a clearer picture of what that is. Above it, and it's hard to see in here, there's a circle, and it has a wing on either side of that circle above that person's head. And that represents, I believe, Anu, which is the God in heaven, the Father of in the heavens from those that came down to earth. But that is now a religious symbol. I think the inscription of the person on there and on this whole side wall. Do you see that, Zachary? There's a whole inscription on this side. You can probably see it with the camera.
I think I'll show it with the camera as best as I can. I apologize. We're at...
There we go. There's some writing right there. That could be very similar to the writing that was on that last rock we looked at. You could see how it's hieroglyphic in nature, but not Egyptian. Most likely, all those inscriptions and pictures were added to this site at a later date. Most likely. That's just great.
Hard to show through the gate, but this is beautiful. Not only the stonework of this archway, which I'm not even convinced I've done justice showing, but the quality of the engravings.
Beautiful. Stones don't even need to be square. They put them together. Wobbly in that stone. Meant nothing to them. The stones did not need to be square at all.
No.
For them to use them.
No, it's like they preferred them not to be because they locked together
right.
better.
as if they preferred them to be wobbly, to lock together. Amazing.
Wow. This looks newer. Small stones, the rubble.
Right?
Built out of the rubble.
That could be reiteration game number 5, 6, or 7 on this site.
We don't know. But when you see some original work like
Right.
this,
Then that's... And the more beautiful stones are not newer. They are older because the crumbly ones are on top.
I don't feel like I need to walk this whole site, but this, what a good example of original, non-blown apart pits. And of course these fit together perfectly. They've been shifted.
I don't need to walk this whole site either. Although we appreciate all things, the rubble stuff, which is still magnificent, is still rubble. We're looking for the original old stuff on this site and trying to identify what we're hastily seen to appreciate all. Bits and pieces from the beginning, or they rekindled it somewhere once upon a time. But how did this big stone get up here? Where's the rest of it? I see big blocks there. There was structures here.
Where's the rest of it? Look around.
Right?
This is just one that stayed intact.
Basically, yes.
These are all those stones. They've just been smashed to bits.
Very much so.
Smashed to bits and reused because it was here.
Such thick walls still too. That's what I would do. If you had to live here now, you'd say, well, start grabbing those stones and build what you need. Well, we've been to Hattusa,
Yes.
and now we're here.
Yes.
We're going to go to the museum, and then we go back to Yozgat. Yeah. We were in Ankara yesterday. Yes.
This is open air temple. One side old male god.
Right.
84 god, this is male god. Other side female.
He says this is a sacrifice altar.
2 persons.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Ahmet kat işler. Mezopotamya'nın şağı işler.
He's got wings. Interesting, right?
You can see here family god.
This one here has wings on him as well. That's the same image we saw inside that arched cave that you loved at the other site. See that person standing there? They have the same tail, same imagery.
Beautiful.
Lion, snake, eagle, male. This
Right.
male, eagle, snake, lion. Another one here, that one.
Wow. So the lion head, remember those creatures I was showing you before? And he's got wings, human body.
Tail.
Right? Very distorted. This is a path originally carved through here. It's an original one, he says.
You can see sword god, snare god.
Oh, look at these.
Sword for lion, head male.
Say that again?
Lion, head male. Man. This is, I can show this is, you can see, look here.
Oh, I see.
Man, 4 line, 1, 2, 3, 4 line, sword.
Oh, I see.
Sword god.
Wow.
It was a 2K detour worth it.
I mean, what? Just don't have a lot of time to process because we gotta.
Right? No processing. Keep going. We have to process it later.
We just came into town. We're gonna check out the museum where maybe we think the sphinxes are located.
All right. At least we get a chance to see the originals. Again, It was just in pieces. They must have found it just in crumbled pieces, and they pieced it back together.
Glued it back.
So I remember when we were at the site, I saw some original stone in here.
Right, and this is This is that original that's missing.
Pieces that are missing.
Absolutely, the original piece that's missing. And yes, these have been worked on, but this is old.
And thankfully they pieced it back together, otherwise it was just crumbles,
It would have ended up on the foundation.
right? Just been crumbles. But the winged beings, lion body, human head, right? It's bizarre. Here's some nice pieces.
This is nice.
Yeah, these are nice. So that would have been the lion's head on some. Remember that one we said the two lion heads were missing off that thing?
Yes.
This could have been one of the lion heads, potentially. The lion feet. This. I'm a rock lover. All amazing, but not of interest to me.
No, not to us.
Well, I appreciate that they put them back together.
Yeah, stunning piece. We will go. We can look at these outside pieces for a moment.
Yeah, they're going to be rocks. And we like rocks.
We love them.
Rocks. Because you can't, the rocks don't lie.
No,
Rocks don't lie.
can't.
But again, they might be rubbly pieces. More gravestone-y looking things.
Yeah,
You keep wanting to be.
headstones maybe.
See the Christian cross.
Yeah.
This is a religious site, or you know. Do you see that headpiece?
Yeah.
See this here, that same symbol of that headpiece. So
This came from the other side that
Right.
was missing.
correct. Magnificent in its originality. Hard to almost appreciate today.
Yeah. Okay. Glad we came to see them in their more original form.